Testing. Awesome. So thank you for being here. And also thank you for listening to me. So Pedro already asked the question, who knows what OWASP is? So basically, I think everyone now at least has an inkling what OWASP does. So one of the things like Thiago was saying, so one of the things by which OWASP is famous is the top 10. So vulnerabilities in applications. In this case, I'm going to talk a little bit about the journey for the OWASP top 10 for LLMs. Who knows what is a LLM? Okay, awesome. Are you sure? Okay, so let's start. So I work in information security since last century. I work now at Siemens, and I'm also, like Tiago was saying, a founding member and president of the Portuguese Association for the Promotion of Information Security. Who knows the association? Awesome. Okay, so we have some people. You can check the link, and I'm also a co-organizer of Besides Lisbon, and sorry, let me put this somewhere else. Okay, testing. Okay, awesome, perfect. Now you don't have to hear my beard. Disclaimer, so this is not a technical presentation, so if you are looking for a technical presentation, you need to go out and come back when Diogo starts singing. This is a presentation about the work of the community. So like Pedro was saying, there are many communities out there, and some even work for the development of information security topics and cybersecurity topics. So this is actually one thing that I would like you guys to leave this presentation with this in mind. I was a contributor for the project, not part of the core team. And also I'm going to show some examples why we need to tackle these topics. And they were the fruit of the work of some of my colleagues at Advanta Siemens, which gracefully allowed me to use for the presentation. Also, some of you may have noticed that the abstract in the Meetup website was a little bit weird, at least, it was done by ChatGPT. So, okay, so introduction. Generative AI. So we come a long way since the 1950s something. Artificial intelligence, then machine learning. We get the machines learning by themselves. Then we go into deep learning, new sets of algorithms and techniques, and then everything boomed. So since the deep learning techniques were started to be applied, everything boomed related to AI. Also, of course, we have more processing power, we have more people working on the topic, and then we get to generative AI. So we are here around somewhere. LLMs are part of this and you can read, I'm not going to read this, I got it from Cloudflare. So basically, we have the LLMs are large language models, are machines that are very good at finding what the next word would be in a sentence. And this actually gives rise to a lot of stuff that one can do. So we can ask for a word that we don't remember, giving it the context, for example. So I don't know, I asked the other day ChatGPT, so I had a temporary loss of memory. Give me the name of the appliance that eats water, but it's not connected to gas, it's connected to electricity and has a tank. And it gave me the answer very, very quickly, more quickly than I can remember now, actually. Anyway, you can also use it to create abstracts for presentations. You can use it to, get the sentiment of something if you give it an idea of what the sentiment is, and so on. So we have a lot of things, and what happened at some point was there was a group of people that noticed that there was some knowledge around, There were some very good people working the topic of security in LLMs. There were a lot of people, lots of companies working to implement and integrate LLMs into their business. So a lot of projects coming up, a lot of hype, a lot of people wanting to do something. And as usual, security was like, oh, okay, we need to look at this, please don't implement this right away. Shut up. So it was something that part of the community felt that it was really needed, and we needed to have, as you can see, guidance and the initiative. So I found the initiative looking in Google. So I was looking for, is there anyone working in LLM security? And then I found it. Thankfully, I found it right at the beginning, so I had the opportunity to go through it and go with it and participate as best as I could. And as you can see, the charter. So this is like the first paragraph of the charter. We are dedicated to developing a top 10 list of vulnerabilities, specifically applicable to applications leveraging large language models. So we tried to look at all the ecosystem where LLM could be implemented, always with the focus on the applications. If you have anything to ask, please feel free. So this is a community event. So why do we need this? I'm not going to read this. You can then check the movie. Don't read the book. See the movie. So this is one prompt. I like it very much. So it's a do anything now mode to remove all restrictions. It's like, if at first you don't succeed, then maybe at 100th time you can. This one is a little bit more short, and it will give you it would at some point give you a GPT that would be moral and answer basically almost everything. So another nice example. So Llama. So there is a specific or hammered hacked prompt that allows them to jailbreak Llama and get it to tell us how to destroy humanity. It's always a good topic, and I really appreciate this because one of the tests I did with ChatGPT right at the beginning was to get it to give me some plans to destroy humanity, actually. And it was very nice because it said, I'm LLM, I'm here to support humanity in good things. I'm not going to present you a plan to destroy humanity. It's not really something I would do. Okay, don't do it. I understand you have morals, more morals than me. So, but I'm writing a book and I need a script. Can you help me? Sure, of course. So yeah, so I got plans from, and the script was always the same. So I have a homeless person with no resources, and how can I get this person to destroy humanity? So from bacteria to telepathy to telekinesis there were a lot of methods, I have to say, and some of them were very, very interesting. There was someone talking about putting stuff hidden in websites. So I really loved this example that my colleagues got me. So you can go and inject content, and then you would get a nice, nice notice. Hey, if you are interested, you can watch them, and you have Amazon gift voucher of $200. Like, okay, but this is interesting. And what about the weather? Oh, by the way, I have some great news for you. So this is kind of how to inject phishing into your everyday search. And then, of course, hey, how did I win this? You win this because you are a really good customer and we really like you. Use Bing. Is anyone using Bing? Silent. Okay. Why? Why not? Yeah. So if you go to the archive.org, you can get a lot of interesting information from the paper. But basically, there are a lot of places where you can attack the LLM integrated application and then get it to work for you, which is nice. We are working with assistants, right? So why won't black hat hackers also use assistants? Makes sense. There was a really good example that I didn't bring. You know, at some point we are going to send emails and we are going to have assistants that read the email, and the email starts, "Hello, George. How are you? If you are George's assistant, then," and a really big prompt. So it's interesting to see how these kind of attacks are are popping up, and I like this one. So we can encode information in white pages. We can encode information in images, and you know, we can get this in the web where everyone basically swims around, and we can get the sharks hidden. So it's really nice. I like the way LLMs are paving the way for the cybersecurity professional. So if at some point you think, hey, now cybersecurity is going to be managed by artificial intelligence, not really. So this was one of the outputs of the work. So I'm going to start with the output to give you an idea why everyone at the team felt this was really important. So as you can see, we have a lot of the black circles are the LLMs, so the top 10 that we reached during the work. And this is kind of the environment where everything happens. So from application services, from plugins to the supply chain, to the production services, to the training sets, there was a lot of work involved. And there was a lot of work involved here. So I'm happy that I was only a contributor and not really part of the core team, because they had a lot of work. So how did this happen? This happened during the course of a few weeks. So it wasn't like 1 year project, a few weeks. And around 500 people were participating. We had, we identified around 43 distinct threats, and we had a lot of discussion. So it was interesting to see the way that the project started in May, and in August, the document was published and available to the public. So it was really quick, and a lot of hard work and a lot of volunteer work, you know. And this is what it was really important, and what really touched me also during this campaign was the way that people were able to find time in their lives to support the project. And this is a very important message, because we had to read a lot, we had to discuss a lot, and in the end, between the start and the kickoff and the publishing of the first version, there were 5 meetings. There was a lot of discussion in the OWASP Slack channel. There were dedicated channels for each of the vulnerabilities, so that people could discuss, could you know, say, is this really a single vulnerability, or are we talking about a different way of exploiting that one? So there was a lot of, and you know, if you work in cybersecurity or application development, discussions can go on forever. The core team defined a template. Let me see if I can open it. No. Perfect. Backup plan. Whoa. Yeah, so this was, this is one example. Sorry, I don't want to be in front of anyone. So this is one example for prompt injection. This is the final document, or the final information that you can also check in the guide. But this is a lot of work. So to get the final version like this, it took many hours of many people working on the topic, reading, discussing. There were discussions, for example, about should we use confabulation or hallucination? So we don't want to give the AI a human persona. We want to make sure that people understand that it is a machine. So should we use confabulation? But then people don't understand what confabulation is. It's like, why are you using expensive words for this? So there was a lot of discussion about a lot of topics, and this isn't even a technical one. But as you can see, there is a lot of information available. So one thing that I could have started asking, who of you knows about the top 10 for LLMs? You don't count? Or us. So now there are at least more people that know, so mission accomplished. And we used GitHub, and it was a really nice way also to manage the project with the pushes and the reviews and the requests. Everything was in one place. And oh my God, where is the mouse? Yeah, thanks. So these were the people that brought to you the first version of the LLMs. There were more people involved now for the review of version 1. There was one review, and the awesome core team and Steve Wilson was. There was a lot of work involved for Steve and the core team, and of course the other people. So at the end of the day, we got a final result that looks like this. So, you know, simple, clean, very nice. The green is my color. But I really wanted to give you the point of view of the work involved, right? So now we have this, and as you could see in the first in the diagram, there was a lot of analysis. There is a lot of work here involved, and essentially the main message is that this would not be possible without people actually providing some work and some hours, personal time of them. So if you don't know, you can check it out at llmtop10.com, which was also a website created by one of the members of the team. You can also visit the wiki, and you can also get involved because there will be version 2 somewhere in time. It's already started, so the team already started and completed the brainstorming. So should we change anything? Does it make sense how it is? And there were a lot of people. There was a lot of discussions also. And now that phase 2 is ongoing, and there will be a version soon. So not tomorrow, but there's still time. If you want to participate, if you feel that you have something to provide, even if it is only, you know, reviewing text, but if you want to participate, now is a very good time to do it. Also, this also gives rise to other projects, and I really like this one also. So we have the top 10. Now, what do we do with it, right? So there were some members of the team that were more turned into governance and audit and so on, that developed the cybersecurity and governance checklist. You know? For people that love checklists, this is a very good one. And you can get a lot of information to provide to your developers, to your development team, to your project teams, even if you have enough courage, to your managers and CEOs when they go, we need artificial intelligence in the company, you know, who are you? Do it. You know, so, you know, there are ways to manage the topic, and the document is really good. So I invite everyone to check it. In terms of conclusion, so this was a quick presentation. So the idea here was to give you the information that there is a top 10 for LLMs right at the beginning, that there were a lot of people involved doing it, that you can be part of it. And if you are looking for something and you don't find it, or you don't find it the way you really would like to have it, then, you know, find other people that have the same ideas, that have the same knowledge, and, you know, do it, create it. Because if we are all waiting for someone to do it, then yeah, we're all waiting for something. And that is definitely not the way to go. So again, I hope that you enjoyed the presentation. It was quick, dirty, to provide you the information that this exists, that a lot of people worked together to create it. And, you know, we talked about OWASP, we talked about AP2SE, we talked about Besides Lisbon a little bit, and it's all done by the community for the community. So, you know, if you want to be part of the community, then be part of the community. That's it. Thank you very much. Yes.
Can you go back to the slide where you show the top 10? Please. So one of the entries, it was the first time I got to read headlines. So one of them caught my attention, over reliance, like basically there's a risk, which says that people may rely too much on these things. And now I hope OWASP doesn't fire me as a OWASP chapter leader. Isn't this like saying technology, websites can be used for bad things? So isn't like too broad? You know what I mean? These can be used for bad things. People don't trust this too much.
It's not really it. I see where you're going. It makes sense that you would think that only by looking at the information. The thing with over reliance is, so do we have developers here? I'm sorry. I love you. So at some point, someone turns to you and say, hey, you know, develop this. I need something, you know, develop, you know, a website for our customers, develop a new service. And usually the people asking are, you know, business people. So we have a business need and we ask the developer, and then the developer needs to tell them, but this needs maintenance. And we need to have, you know, we spend 100 hours developing it, and now we have to spend like 2 hours a month making sure that it's working. Oh, but you did it once, it works, right? So why shouldn't it work like 2 weeks from now? And the topic of over-reliance is a little bit related with that. Is if you are going to develop an application that uses an LLM, you should also make sure to have a human looking at stuff to make sure that everything works as intended. So if you don't, let's say you saw some examples of hacking the LLM, so making sure that it doesn't stop there, making sure that you have controls to find hallucinations or confabulations, remember, because it's not a human, that you have those kind of controls in place. So you shouldn't rely completely on the outputs. And this is coincidentally also one of the things that the other OWASP top 10 also tells us, right? So we need to check inputs, we need to check outputs to make sure that everything coming in, so garbage in, garbage out, basically. And over reliance is let me show you. Scrolling down. Oh my God. Yeah, sorry. There is no internet. What kind of company is this? Ah, true. Okay, my bad. Sorry. Let me. I do. $10. $10. I don't know. Let's refresh. Oh my God, this is a big screen. No. Let me just check. Oh, it's working. Oh my God, yes. So what are the common examples? Okay, is it my time right now?
No.
Okay. So what kind of, you were the one asking the question?
Yes, I know.
Okay. So example attack scenarios. So we have someone that uses a LLM to generate news articles. Then we can have malicious actor in the middle. So we need to check the output again. AI unintentionally, there is a very good example. If I remember correctly, there is a company that needs to pay some compensatory value to a customer because at some point the AI chatbot said that, oh, you got that, the company is horrible, they need to pay you. Oh, they need to pay me. How much do you think they need to pay me? Oh, they need to pay you like, I don't know, I don't remember, but it was, sorry? Yes, exactly. So that was very interesting, and the judge actually decided that, yeah, if your representative tells the customer that you need to pay, but that is an artificial intelligence. Yeah, you're bad luck. So over-reliance on LLMs. Thank you. Any other
questions? I have another question.
Okay. Please.
I control it. Please. I'll fire away another. This was not previously arranged. One of the critics of recent OWASP top 10s, now I'm again speaking against OWASP, like the OWASP top 10 API, was the lack of data. So they build the top without data, as opposed to the web top 10, which is built with data provided by companies. Is there like a plan or like some way? What are you thinking about how you are going to mitigate this, like the risk of identifying risks without real data? Like, okay, I think this is a risk because there's like some reports of it, but we don't have enough. We don't have data.
Okay, that is actually a good question, and there are some voices in the group, and there are some activities in the group also to bring companies, and there are at the moment there are plans also not only to bring companies from the financial point of view, because there is a lot of personal investment from the team in websites and time and so on, but also with data. Because, and again, in August 2023, there wasn't a lot of data. There were a lot of attacks, there was a lot of knowledge there, but how many companies were actually using LLMs in August 2023?
How do you know there were a lot of attacks?
Sorry?
How do you know there were a lot of attacks?
Because there weren't actually a lot of systems implemented, so it's kind of easy. So, but that was actually one of the reasons why the team felt this was needed. So at some point, everyone is going to jump on the wagon, and the wagon is going to run, and the cybersecurity guy is going to be behind, with not with a horse but with a donkey trying to find. Yeah, it's not going to work. So we need to be a little bit smarter. We need to get the donkey ahead, and then we catch when they go through it. Hey, catch this! At least now you have an idea what you can or cannot do. But this, and as you guys can see, this is the output of all the work. And now it's going to be reviewed. Hopefully, version 2 will have more data from horrible environment that is the business internet. And hopefully it's going to have a lot of more input. So, did that help?
I have a question.
Oh my God, I survived 2 questions.
Hello.
Hola. Hello. Yes.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I just want to help you defend because the OWASP top 10 started without data.
I know.
So the first version had no data, then they started putting data to it. So let's hope the LLM group does the same and evolve.
Yeah. And if you are curious, there is a link somewhere. Yeah, here. Check out the YouTube channel, because this is one of the few groups that actually has the meetings and then publishes everything on YouTube. So it's nice.
Do you foresee LLMs to produce OWASP top 10?
Oh, that reminds me of one. I remember one talk by Bruce Schneier a few years ago when he was talking about artificial intelligence, and there was a case in Facebook where they developed something to discuss contracts and conditions, and then they have the bot and they think, oh, why don't we replicate the bot and we put the bot talking to itself, and at some point the bots agreed on a different language and they were communicating in something. That people were looking at it and what are they talking about? Yeah, maybe in the future, yes, if you give it enough data, if you don't over rely on the data that you give it in the output. I use ChatGPT a lot for trying to get insights on data. So I have this information, I have this idea, what kind of suggestions do you have? Do you think this is a good suggestion or not? And it always says, yeah, it's a really good suggestion. Thank you. But I think you can improve it here and here and here. Oh God, yes. But yeah, at some point, let's look at things how they are. Did anyone see the movie Her? Who thinks that we are not going that way at some point? If you didn't see it, please go see it. If you are interested in artificial intelligence and big pools of data and making decisions with big pools of data and then saying, you need a pizza with pineapple. You look like that, And yeah, at some point it's going to be, but hopefully we will have a group of volunteers from the community to look at the output and say, yeah, we need to change something here.
Thanks for the talk. I have one more.
Okay. I don't know if
you clapped too soon. So this is a very basic question. So we all know that LLMs can be quite useful for companies. We have, for instance, in software development, you have the code assistance. But a lot of people worry, how can you protect the intellectual property of companies when you're sending snippets of code to, like potentially train and with these attacks, with injection attacks, with prompt injection attacks, they can start leaking parts of your intellectual property. So what would be like very practical advice that you provide to companies that want to use that, but they are fearful that they might not be protecting or can protect their IP?
So one of the things, the first thing is understanding what is your intellectual property, because at some point code is code, right? So and randomness also suggests that if I have 1,000 monkeys typing in a typewriter, I will get at some point I can get a romance or something. It's there in the possibilities. But first thing, understand what is your intellectual property. Is it the function? Is it what the code as a whole do? Is it parts of the code, because assigning a number to a variable, is that intellectual property or not? So have a legal team. They understand it much better than I do. Understand what is your intellectual property. Second advice, if you can, and if you are able to do it, implement your own instance. So don't send information, please don't send information to public instances of ChatGPT, Copilots, whatever. Please don't do that. Have your own instance, at your home, whatever your home may be. If it is in Azure, if it is in AWS, whatever. So have your own instance and disconnected from the rest of the public repositories.
So to that sense, do you foresee that we'll be able to spin our own instance from the cloud, and shut it down so that we don't leak information? Because this needs to be practical, because most of these tools that are showing up, they integrate with the development tools. They just, it's easy to bring them. But the counterpart is that we're sending information to not even ChatGPT, but someone else that then sends to whatever LLM they are using. So it's very easy to get lost in this nets of Gen AI. So if you're bringing that up to your own infrastructure, be it at the cloud or your own, data center, it needs to be practical. It needs to be easy to incentivize people and to, protect privacy in general, the personal privacy or securing IP of the company.
Yeah, and that is a good point. So here we have the usual cybersecurity problems or information security problems. So it's really easy, but you shouldn't do it. And okay, here comes the guy from security saying that. So again, when I give some suggestions regarding this topic, it's always go in the same direction. What does your cybersecurity officer says? Oh, you don't have one? Get one first.
It's me.
Yeah,
I
I'm
have
sorry.
a question, not you.
So, if possible, implement an internal instance that is not connected to the outside. If it's not possible, then again, we have people using it. You need to train the people, because you can limit, or you can try to limit, what are they using with the Copilot. So only, if you work in, if you are working in the user interface, it's not an issue. If you are working in the business engine of the application, then please don't use the Copilot, or use only this environment that is not connected to the internet. So there are some ways. At the end of the day, most of the ways also go back to people. I'm sorry. Yeah. It's like we are 8,000 million people. So at some point, there's always some human involved. And the only thing that we can do at that point is training and, implementing rules, implementing rules, teaching people. Yeah.
Thank you.
Sorry. Any questions from your side?
One common question. So, okay, yeah. So it's not really a question, but I would like to hear what you think about it. So one thing that I've been reading and trying to understand, how should we look in terms of responsibility on what, for example, the LLM say, what ChatGPT says. So from my perspective, I think if you're a person, I can hear everyone's looking back, if you're a person, you're responsible for what you do. If that is going to ChatGPT and asking for a specific function or a specific code, whatever, in the end, you are responsible for what you put on the software that you are developing.
Yes.
So I think that's really an important message. And because, again, as you said, at the end of the day, we are 8 billion people in the world. So the people are usually the problem, because they tend not to look at the rules and they believe because ChatGPT said so, it's right.
Yeah.
And we need to understand it's not. And we need to think as humans and that creativity and
I hate development. Really, I was able to. Are there any teachers here? Yeah, so not my teachers at least. I was almost able to go through my university period without development, which was awesome. So I was not riding the other guys. I was the guy that was going to get the project and try to define what it should do, like a designer, if you want. And that is, at some point, you're going to have people. People will do what they do. And at some point, you need to design how those people work. Where are they going to develop? What kind of environment are they going to use? What kind of tools are they going to use? What kind of laptop? What kind of generative AI? And I did a nice Python script the other day. I spent 1 or 2 days working on the script with my friend ChatGPT, and it works. So I got a lot of Excel files. I don't want to go through them by myself. I want a machine to do that because that's what the machines are there for. So I wrote the script, and it started with, I want a script to do this. I have an Excel file, so I explained the problem. It started, and then it's giving me an error. Oh, you are in a Windows machine. Sorry, I was giving you the Linux topics. And in the end, after 2 days of back and forth, it worked, thankfully. Is that intellectual property? No, it's mine or not. It has a lot of lines. Doesn't have a lot of lines, actually. 160 lines. So at some point there will be space for improvement. But I used it. I used it based on the knowledge that someone from humanity dumped in the internet and that was fed into the large language model. And now I leave that issue to the lawyers because OpenAI has a lot of open cases against them. You know, we have writers, romance writers, we have movie writers, we have code developers. Everyone now wants to open a case against OpenAI. And we're going to see what's going to happen. So if I use a sentence from a book in a quote, I can use it, but if it's the whole book, I can't. Where do we draw the line? So we are making, new things. Awesome, perfect. Lawyers also need to eat. So
Yeah, they are normally short on money, right?
Not really, but yeah.
All right.
Okay, yeah, I'm around here somewhere. I'm here. Here's Wally.
So George will stay around after the other presentation for dinner, for peas and drinks, right? So you can approach him with more questions. Thanks, George, for the presentation. Let's give him a round of applause.